Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's the Word Wednesdays. I am your host, Skyje, and today we will be reading from the book of John, John chapter 15, verses 1 through 12. And the reason I've chosen this selection is because we went over it in church today. So I just want to reiterate it and, dig a little bit deeper. The more you read or study to the same topic, the more it resonates and the more you learn. So, yeah, once again, we are reading the book of John, chapter 15, verses 1 through 12. And it's about the vine and the branches. So I'll give you guys just a minute to get there if you haven't gotten there yet. Once again, that's John, chapter 15, verses 1 through 12, if you guys want to read along with me. All right, so here we go. Chapter 15, verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes it, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. And other translations say, abide in me, and I will abide in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me, and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be given to you. This is my Father's glory. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. Verse 9. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. 11. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. 12. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. So there's a few key points that I've written down that I will discuss with you guys. 1, what is to remain in him or to abide? What does it mean to remain or to abide? 2, what are the results of remaining and abiding? 3, what is this fruit that you bear? Much fruit. What is this fruit? 4, what are the consequences of not abiding? And 5, why the fruit? Why do we want the fruit? So the first point, what does it mean to abide? So in church Sunday, we went over this and we all had our own answers. So we said that to abide or to remain means to live with God, to stay put, follow God's rules and discipline, be committed, and do everything in accordance and in acceptance of God. So that's what it means to remain or to abide. The results of abiding are producing much fruit. It says if you do not do these things, you will not produce fruit. Okay? And the fruit, what is the fruit? Yeah, 3, what is the fruit? The fruit are our actions, how we carry ourselves, our character. In Genesis, it says that every flower produces fruit of its own kind. So a mango flower bush will produce a mango tree. It won't produce an apple tree. And just like humans, we produce fruit after ourselves. And so, first, the fruit has a sweet smelling flower, and then it turns into a fruit. And the fruit is a spiritual thing. If we read Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 through 24, it talks about the fruits of the Spirit. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, and self-control. So those are the fruits of the Spirit that we produce when God remains in us, and when we remain in Him, and when we remain in His Word. And if we do not remain in Him or in His Word, then we will not produce these fruits. We may walk around bitter and angry and treating people badly, and those aren't the fruits of God. Those are something else. So that was the fourth point, the consequences of not abiding. So when you don't abide, or if you don't remain in Him, there are some consequences that will happen. And one is that you will not produce fruit, as I've just mentioned. You won't be producing the fruit. You'll actually probably be surrounded with gossip and malice, backbiting, all types of other things that are not a result of remaining in God. And then the last thing is, why this fruit? Well, other consequences. You cannot do nothing without God. You can't survive, you can't grow, you will die, you will be worthless, and you will be tossed in the fire to burn, to, kindle people's bonfires. If we don't remain in God, we'll just be tossed to and fro, and we won't be able to produce fruit. And the reason we want to produce this fruit is to expand the kingdom and, be fruitful. The more we carry God in our spirit, and the more we produce these fruits, this goodness, kindness, gentleness, and love, the more people that, they say the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. Like a mango tree, when a mango drops to the ground from the tree, after the season goes and it rains, and the following season it produces another tree. So if you are producing good fruit, everything you touch is going to, produce that same fruit, and the world is just going to be a much more beautiful place. So, I guess I'll go over the first few verses one more time. Let's do that. Okay. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes it and produces more fruit, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine. You are the branches. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me, and my word remains in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be given to you. This is to my Father's glory, that you will bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. So another reason you want to remain in God and He remain in you is because if you do so, if you ask what you want of Him, He will give you the desires of your heart. So that's another good reason to remain. All right, well, we've concluded John chapter 15. verses 1 through 12. Thank you for coming to What's the Word Wednesday. We will see you next week. If you're new and this is your first time watching, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to read along with me next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Once again, this is Skyje, and this is What's the Word Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you.